Yo, what's up everybody, Jumpin' Yeah, and today I am back on some Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite legendary in the entire game. It's for my favorite class in the entire game, and that is the Skipping Stone Bow. This is a legendary longbow, and it's crazy. If you're using the Hunter and you're doing it right, you can easily hold down entire spawns by yourself because of this legendary. I'm going to be showing it in the gameplay on how crazy this can be. But the legendary effect is that headshots will ricochet to a nearby enemy. This is insane. It's a 1-for-1, so if you get a headshot, it's going to ricochet. And the Hunter, with a fully drawn back longbow, especially with a fire arrow, you can do some crazy damage. Easily get a kill with that. And whenever it ricochets, it does full damage. You can get 2 kills real quick. It is crazy. But also, I know most people love this for the ultimate, because when you go into your ultimate, you will get automatic headshots, and they will all ricochet. So, you can easily get 6 kills with your ultimate with this, and if you are using the one that lets you target up to 5 enemies, you can pretty much easily get 10 kills. Now, I don't really use that. I don't recommend that, because my setup is mainly for gold and just dominating gold. If you're playing quick play or you're playing with your friends, I definitely would recommend this setup for gold. I will talk a little bit about what you can do if you want to make a setup for nightmare survival as well, because I would definitely recommend different things. But if you are playing gold, I would say that this is definitely the way to go, because this setup absolutely destroys gold. Now, when it comes to all of the perks I have on my gear, it's not necessarily perfect because it's very hard to get a perfect setup, but it is a very good setup in my opinion. Now, on my actual Skipping Stone Bow, I have headshot damage, that's great. Reload speed, you can also get range damage, that's fine. Draw speed, that's also fine. But one thing I would recommend is shield piercing ammo, just because I like to be able to just aim at the body a lot and go right through a shield. I am using a perk that allows me to get headshots by hitting body shots, and that perk is extremely good, especially with this bow, because if you get those headshots, and it will happen a lot when you're getting body shots that count as headshots, they are ricocheting to nearby targets. That is crazy. So I definitely personally feel like shield piercing ammo is the most useful red text that you can get on the bow itself. Now, when it comes to the katana, I am using a moon katana. I definitely think that moon, water, and wind is the most useful stances. Water is definitely the best in my opinion, and that's the one you really want more than anything. But I also really like moon for taking out brutes. Now, when it comes to the middle perks, 100% get melee damage if you can, and get ultimate damage. Ultimate damage will help your ultimate do more damage. That is great, because this is mainly a 100% ranged build. I don't really melee all that much. I normally get most of my kills with the bow itself. So I definitely want that ultimate damage. And if I have to, I will melee, but mainly I'm using this just for the ultimate damage. Now, I do have a Hunter's Charm on, but to be honest with you, what I have on this right now is kind of what you can also get on a ranged charm. So it doesn't actually matter. I will talk about a Hunter's Charm if you can get one. That would be really good for nightmare survival, because there are certain perks that you can only get on the Hunter's Charm that I personally would think would be amazing for nightmare survival. But if you're just doing gold, it doesn't really matter, because you can get headshot damage or range damage, that's fine. I have ultimate damage. Fire damage would also be good for that particular perk there. And then finally, Fire Master, get that, because the amount of fire damage that you're going to do, you will just melt everything, and you can literally wipe out entire spawns on gold, no problem with your exploding arrow. Exploding arrow is definitely the way to go if you are playing gold, doing quick play. If you are doing nightmare survival, you might want to use concussive arrow, just because that will stun every enemy and it will help out your team a lot more just for that stun. And there's a lot of annoying teleporting enemies in nightmare mode, so the concussive arrow is a lot better. But that's what I would go for. And also for the red text, I would say maybe get the foul arrows that will weaken the targets, or blessed arrows to heal nearby allies. That's what I would go for a nightmare survival setup. Now, for my ghost weapons, I go for throw dirt. I definitely think this is the best option here, just because it stuns the target, and you do so much fire damage. This can do some great damage if you have fired up on it. I use this all the time just to get kills or to stun enemies. Even if I'm not meleeing them, I use it to help my teammates out. Definitely, I say go for cooldown reduction on kill. That is so good on this. That is because this thing only has a 40-second cooldown to it. And when you're getting 3.6 seconds on every kill, you're going to have this back in no time. Now, the other thing I have on this is status effect duration. That's really good because if you're burning enemies, the longer they will burn for, the more damage you're going to do. That is awesome. Now, one thing I forgot to bring up, I just remembered, is actually my Hunter's Charm. There is something you can get on this that I don't have on mine. Like I said, mine is kind of like a range charm. And I kept it just because it came with like some decent stuff. Now, if I wanted to, I could re-roll this and try to actually get Hunter Ability Radius. That is something I might consider just because that is actually really insane when you think about it. Because already the exploding arrow, for example, has a really good radius to it. Imagine if you could double it. 100% more radius. That is crazy. And I would definitely say when it comes to the concussive arrow, the stun arrow, the staggering arrow, that's the name of it. When it comes to that, I definitely would think having more radius would be great for Nightmare Survival because you can pretty much stun everything on the screen. So that is something you can get on the Hunter's Charm that you might want to consider trying to get if possible. Now let's talk about my other ghost weapon. I have caltrops on. I really do like caltrops a lot because what I like to do is throw them down, and then when enemies will walk on them, I try to hit the enemies with the dirt. That way they'll get stunned on top of them and they will literally melt. I have fire on this. Pretty much I'm using fire on everything, and I have the exact same setup pretty much. I have cooldown reduction on kill and status effect duration. It's not as good as on my dirt, but whatever, I'll take it. It doesn't really matter. Now, once again, I will say for Nightmare Survival Mode, you might want to consider using smoke bombs just because these are very good. It helps out the team a lot. The entire team, if they're all in the point, can get multiple critical strikes or assassinations. It can help you pick people up. So if you're playing Nightmare Survival, smoke bomb might be the way to go. Now, when it comes to the techniques, the first one, like I said, I'm using the exploding arrow. This is great for gold. You're going to see it in the gameplay. It's going to absolutely just melt everything. It is really, really good. And when it comes to Nightmare Survival, I would definitely say staggering arrow might be the way to go just because there's a lot of annoying teleporting enemies and this will just shut them down. Your team will love you for this. Now, for the very first perk, I go for Executioner. Now, this will increase headshot damage by 50%, which is honestly a lot, within 12 meters. A lot of people might not like it because of the 12 meters. Now, if you don't want to go for this, the only other one I would go for would be decreasing the class ability cooldown, just because that's never bad, honestly. But the reason why I like this is because, first of all, 12 meters in this game is really actually 12 meters. When I'm playing single player and I'm on my horse and I have to go 10 meters, it really feels like 10 meters. A lot of games, when it's like 10 or 12 meters, it doesn't feel like 10 or 12 meters. This game, it actually does. So that's really nice. And also, on survival mode, the AI can be very stupid. And one thing I've noticed is that if you have a control point and the enemies hop inside of the control point, you can stand just outside of that point, shooting all of the enemies in the head, and with this bow, you'll kill them all. And they will just literally sit there and stare at you. They won't attack you, they'll just stare at you, and the entire time you're getting the headshot damage. So personally, I like this perk. If you don't like this perk, you can always go for the other perk. It's up to you. I definitely would say go for the status damage, regardless, because fire arrows are amazing. You're going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage with them. Same with the exploding arrow, your ghost weapons. This will benefit basically a lot of stuff. So definitely go for the status damage. And finally, pinpoint. This is my favorite perk that the hunter gets because there are a lot of enemies that can be annoying to actually hit in the head. And because of that, just aim for the body. You have a 50% chance of getting headshot damage. And with this bow, it will ricochet. And if you fully draw it back with a fire arrow, you can just flat out do insane damage, killing multiple enemies. It is extremely good. And one of the things I hate is I hate enemies with shields. It can be very hard at times to hit them in the head. A lot of times I just aim for their body, pierce through the shield, get a headshot because of this perk, and I will kill them and other enemies around them. So that is crazy. Alrighty, now it is time to actually show some gameplay with this. I actually did a couple games and I just kind of picked some of the best waves from those games. And I'm going to be showing you on how this hunter can easily just wipe out entire spawns. I mean, it is crazy on how much damage the exploding shot can do and how great this bow is because of that amazing ricochet ability. Alrighty, well, this is going to be the gameplay, and this is going to be wave 1. First thing you're going to notice is that I like to throw on my cow traps. Now, knowing the spawns is definitely something that can help you a lot. Now, I don't know every spawn, but I do know some of the spawns, especially like the beginning spawns, and knowing them will absolutely help you dominate, because if you know where they're going to spawn and you're able to hit them on spawn with like the exploding arrow, you're just going to literally melt the entire wave. And yeah, if you can get those ricochets off as well, it is crazy, absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, you don't even have to always aim for the head. You can just aim for the body a lot of times, and you can either finish a guy off if he's weak, or you can get a headshot if you get lucky, and that can ricochet and get you extra kills. So it definitely helps you dominate everything. And of course, the ultimate will greatly benefit from this as well. Now, it really doesn't matter here because everyone is popping their ultimate and everything's dying, but still, didn't really matter. Now, this is wave 6 on this map, and they're all going to be coming from out here. This is a great position to pretty much hit them with the exploding arrow, and it just does crazy, crazy damage. Now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to the exploding arrow is something I notice a lot of people don't really do, and that is, I don't know if people actually draw it back all the way. Now, I'm not going to 100% say it makes it do more damage. I want to say that it does, at least when it comes to enemies that you directly hit with it. I feel like you do more damage to them if you fully draw it. Because anytime you fully draw back your longbow, you're going to be doing more damage. And I feel like it's the same with the exploding shot. So that is something I just want to give as a tip. Try that out. Try getting direct impacts with the exploding arrow if possible, and try drawing it back all the way. You're going to notice it's going to do a lot more damage in that case. Now, another thing you might notice is I actually have auto aim on. Now, you might be wondering, why is that? Well, I will say auto aim can be very annoying in this game. It's very strong, and that can be kind of frustrating because it's just ridiculously strong at times. But it's kind of like GTA or Red Dead Redemption. If you've ever played those games with auto aim and you like those types of games, all you have to do, it will basically lock on to the body for you. And then you have to just adjust your aim to try to get a headshot. So that's the way I like to play because I've played so much Red Dead Redemption and GTA on the consoles. I'm so used to that system, that lock on to the body system, and then try to adjust the aim to the head. Now, it makes it very easy, to be honest with you, at getting headshots once you get used to it, once you master it. But it will make you dominate. It absolutely makes you dominate when it comes to playing like gold or survival or whatever. You're actually able to basically just get like headshots on demand. Just wipe out entire groups, no problem. Because a lot of people I notice, maybe they don't have that on, and when they play on Hunter, they don't even actually use the bow all that much. They might use this bow to try to get kills with the ultimate. They will use the exploding arrow or the concussive arrow. Well, staggering arrow. I keep forgetting the name of that. And I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Look at that damage. Look how all that fire damage, they just melt because of all of the status damage and fire damage. But it's something I do notice that a lot of people who play the Hunter, they do a lot of melees. And I feel like those are people who probably don't have auto aim on. They don't know that you can do that. They might not like it if they do know about it. like I said, it's something to get used to, but if you can, I wish there was a way to adjust it, because I do feel like it's way too strong at times, and it can be kind of annoying, where it's like the auto aim is so strong that you are locking onto random stuff, and you're like, oh my god, this is actually kind of annoying. So, I do want to point that out, because if you're wondering, like, man, I'm getting all these headshots, I'm just dominating these spawns, a lot of that is because of the auto aim. And I'm decent with it just because I'm so used to playing games like Red Dead Redemption or GTA. So if you like those types of games, if you're used to that type of system, try this out. It will definitely dominate. Now, this is going to be the final wave. This is a boss wave. The previous wave was actually wave 21, but I decided to do this one last because it's a boss wave. But the first thing I'm going to do is just run up to all the enemies, light them all on fire. That's a very nice thing that you can do, because we have all this fire damage and status damage. If you can't get the ignite all enemies like power up, that is definitely the one you want to get on the hunter. And basically, as you can see, I try to just get my range. And one thing you might also notice, this is kind of a tip. Against the stronger enemies, what I like to do is I like to start with a fire arrow if possible, and then I'll do a normal arrow to finish them off. That will save me ammo, basically. And of course, you want to pick up your ammo. Normally, I don't have a problem with ammo. Now, I'm going to kind of fail here, because I'm going to try to hit them with the exploding shot, and I just kind of miss. It is kind of a fail. But now you're going to just see, this bow is so good. It's so good that you're able to do stuff like that. And you're going to see it right here as well. I'm going to aim for these dogs, get both of them down, do it again, get the other two down. This bow is insane. You can easily hold off entire spawns by yourself. Alrighty guys, so that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I really hope that you have enjoyed it and that this has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me, and be sure to subscribe for future videos. And if you do, click the bell. That way you can stay notified. That's such an important thing on YouTube right now. Make sure to click the bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.